think so. There's a million little takeaways, but really one big one. I didn't realize that my mood, that how I, accepted success or failure, how I led the staff. I didn't think that it really mattered very much. If I, flipped out because something got miscooked or whatever, I thought that was my own private
little bubble,
right? And so I used to, yell and kick and scream and all that kind of stuff when things would go wrong. And I realized, fairly soon that the rest of the kitchen staff was doing the same thing. And then, interestingly, over time, the front of the house started doing the same thing. And I remember one evening, one of the waitstaff members lit into a customer for not playing by the rules, right? And I thought to myself,
is that the quote? Are we doing air quotes right there?
Yeah,
is that something that you used to say a lot?
Air quotes. Well, I realize this in retrospect, and I realized that the wait staff were failing at the fundamental rule of restaurants, taking care of people on their terms, because when they came to the kitchen, they were being abused by all of the staff, the kitchen staff. Back of the house is just yelling at them, willy nilly for whatever, being a bunch of grumpy people or whatever. And all of that came from me, that I had started the whole thing. I had created a culture of abuse through the whole restaurant.
Yeah, I mean,
from the top down.
Two
right?
things that come to mind when I hear you tell this story. First, I'm thinking of Danny Meyer in his explanation of skunking, right? And that when there's a negative person in a room, like, you affect everybody.
Yep.
Like, that energy transfers, right? You transfer that energy to everybody, and they people follow in your footsteps, right?
Yep.
And I think the other thing that comes to mind is just emotional intelligence. And at the peak of emotional intelligence, they say that self-awareness is at the peak. When the most emotionally intelligent people are self-aware. And it takes time to evolve that frontal lobe to be self-aware. And it sounds like this is around the time where you really started to become self-aware, and you're realizing, like, your impact on others is so powerful. Do you want to reflect any more on that?
Well, it hit me like a freight train. I couldn't believe, we all think great things about ourselves, and we all think, bad things about ourselves as well. But I had no clue that I could have that much of a negative effect on everybody else around me. And, and I realized that I needed to make it go away instantaneously.
How'd you do that?
I instituted a rule initially, first thing I did, where everyone had to say please and thank you. That everyone had to listen to everybody else.
Just that little rule, that one thing, though.
Please.
What
Yes,
you'll
please.
do by that is it forces you to kind of, like, acknowledge and recognize people, right?
Yep. Yes, please.
Was that the intention?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That we were going to, even if we didn't respect each other out of the gate, that we were going to use the niceties of society and language,
Respect.
Yeah. For each other. And then from there, we were going to move on to, listening actively, listening empathetically, using words like I need instead of I want, and that we would listen to things like, hey, I need this to happen versus I want that to happen, right?
Being, like, really intentional with your words and knowing that your words have
It's a big deal.
like, weight and meaning, and be thoughtful of what you're saying, right?
Yep, it's a really big deal.
Awesome stuff.
Fast forward way beyond that. Now we have a glassed-in kitchen, and the whole joke between my wife and me was, like, that was going to be the last thing. Like, once the kitchen is glassed in, then the chef can't have a temper tantrum anymore, right? And so when we opened up our restaurant, I knew I could never lose my whatever again.
So they can see you, but they can't hear you. Is it soundproof glass?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
ish. Yes, ish.
So you can still stay cool, calm, collected, and whisper something.
Yeah.
That no.
Yeah. Yep.